Here's how the MotoGP riders will line up for this Michelin Virtual British Grand Prix. On the outside of the front row is going to be the Idemitsu LCR Honda of Taka Nakagami, a best ever virtual MotoGP qualifying for the Japanese rider. Second on the grid will be Fabio Quartararo, already has 3 pole positions to his name in his virtual MotoGP series, but he had to settle for second today because pole position went the way of the returning wildcard Jorge Lorenzo. Back on a Yamaha and back on pole position. The number 99 will start a MotoGP race from the front of the grid for the first time since Aragon 2018. It took this final lap of the session to jump ahead of Fabio Quartararo, meaning we'll have a Yamaha 1-2 here at Silverstone. Tito Rabat front row number 2 ahead of Michele Pirro and Lorenzo Savadori, with both Joan Mir and Pecco Bagnaia unable to set a lap.
Jorge, quindi dura o media dura?
Dipende della moto.
As the talk continues of which rear tyres everyone is going to use here at the Michelin Virtual British Grand Prix. The choice of rear Michelins is the talk of the town, Jack.
Certainly is. They're banding around everything, soft, medium, hard, and it seems we've got all sorts of different combos.
Soft media, Pecco.
There's just someone just saying to Pecco that they're going to have soft medium. It might have been Pirro who said that there.
Yeah, I think Michele Pirro going with a soft medium. I swear that Jorge said he's looking at the medium hard. So let's see. There's lots of different tyre choices gone on between the 8 guys. I think we've got every single possibility between all 8 of them. But for the first time in quite some time, Jorge Lorenzo on a Yamaha on pole position. Oh, that is quite exciting to say, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Here he goes, the number 99 starts from pole and gets a great start. Meanwhile, unsurprisingly, Taka Nakagami pulling a wheelie all the way down to the opening corner. Fabio Quartararo squeezes up the inside though, sends Lorenzo wide. Joan Mir's gone down, along with Lorenzo Savadori as well, but it's Quartararo that leads on the opening lap here at Silverstone as Taka Nakagami just cleans out Jorge Lorenzo.
Yep, Taka Nakagami, he's done it again. He's absolutely cleaned out someone on the first lap. It seems the kamikaze reputation has returned for us here in Silverstone. But he leads, he's gone straight through into the lead. He's gone underneath El Diablo there, sorry, trying to put on my words. And he's through into the lead at the end of the straight on lap 1.
Taka Nakagami leads, who would have thought it? Well, the fact that he's taken out Jorge Lorenzo means it doesn't matter whether you're a current Repsol Honda rider or an ex-Repsol Honda rider. He's coming for you. Meanwhile, there goes Quartararo. He's gone down. No fault of Nakagami this time. Quartararo is trying to slip up the inside of Nakagami, but got it all wrong, and he's crashed out.
Certainly has, and now look who's into second place. It's Pecco Bagnaia, and we know how quick he is. He's a man that's won one of these Grand Prix before, so let's see if he can come through on Nakagami, and come into the lead by the end of lap 1.
Remember, he needs to finish on the podium to jump ahead of Alex Marquez in this virtual world championship. I thought he was going to properly dive bomb him there, and there he goes again. He's gone down. Bagnaia's gone down. Well, that's a very rare mistake from Pecco Bagnaia, crashing out. Normally we see the Italian is fairly unflappable. The only mistake I can think of is what happened at Jerez when he was leading the race, but to crash out on the opening lap is not like Pecco Bagnaia at all. And what a top 3 this is, Jack. Taka Nakagami leads from Michele Pirro from Tito Rabat.
Yeah, certainly. And I don't know if you saw the line that Tito took there into the final little complex, but he missed the apex by about 7 nautical miles. So yeah, he completely outbraked himself coming down at the end of the back straight.
It's worked though. He's suddenly popped into second place though, ahead of Michele Pirro. Well, you've got some good odds on this one. At the end of lap 1, a chaotic lap 1 where Quartararo and Lorenzo, the 2 fastest men in qualifying, have both crashed out. It's Nakagami that leads, ahead of Tito Rabat, ahead of Michele Pirro. Who would have thought it? We'll have another 10 more laps, or 9 more now of that, if we can, please.
Yeah, I don't know if my heart rate can take all that. And what we have now is quite an interesting little setup, really. Historically, we've seen that El Diablo has been pretty quick. He's been really fast as Fabio, so we're going to see if he can try and come through these guys and make it way back to the front. Because traditionally, Taka Nakagami and Tito Rabat are normally not quite as fast as Fabio has been in his last few races.
Yes, if he can stop making mistakes though, Fabio Quartararo. He said it himself in all opening 4 virtual races, he just crashes too much. He's got the pace. If he could cut the crashes out, he would have won all 4 races, because he's taken, what, 3 pole positions. He was second here at Silverstone as well, so he's got the pace, but unfortunately it's the crashes that have cost him dearly. Let's see if he can try and battle back after that one on the opening lap. He's got Michelin British in his sights, the first of the 3 ahead of him.
Certainly has been, and that's quite a scary look back from Michelin British there, as we see Fabio closing in, but not just that. Jorge Lorenzo's in the background as Fabio's up the inside of him. He's going to try and get the drive coming onto the back onto the straight. He's underneath Michelin British and up into 3rd place.
He's done it. Fabio's through, up to 3rd place now. It's Quartararo. Who's next? Tito Rabat, less than 2 seconds ahead of him as well. Pirro will look to respond here around the outside. That's brave. I'm not sure that's going to work, or maybe it is. I spoke too soon. There we go. Super move from Michelin British. I think it helps that Quartararo himself made a little bit of a mistake getting up on the curbs on the inside, but Quartararo has responded well and is now back in front of Pirro. Here's our race leader then, still controlling the race after 2 laps now. Taka Nakagami. Unflappable though, you can see him down in our bottom right hand corner sort of. There, the Japanese rider, full focus, moves the head left and then right as he goes through Maggots and Beckett. He's got a bit of an advantage as well, just under 2 seconds ahead of Tito Rabat.
Certainly. As Pecco's gone down, it's a nightmare for Pecco's. Another one that's cost him at the start. 2 early mistakes, and it seems that all his work is going to be far too much to catch up to the front guys now.
It looks as though that possible championship lead is just slipping through his fingers, Bagnaia, when he saw the entry list and there was no Alex Marquez, there was no Marc Marquez, there was no Maverick Vinales, the men that have regularly been competing with him aside from Fabio Quartararo. He would have thought that a comfortable victory was going to come his way, but 2 crashes already means he's all the way down in 7th place, Pecco Bagnaia. Who would have thought that? Meanwhile, here's the man making his debut, the wild card, Jorge Lorenzo. Pirro's already been picked off by 1 Yamaha man in the form of Fabio Quartararo. Here goes Lorenzo looking to go around the outside. No way through there. This is where he was taken out on the first lap, remember, by Taka Nakagami. Or is it? No, it's not. I'm getting my corners mixed up here. At Silverstone, meanwhile, Pirro's got through back up the inside of Lorenzo. I don't think Jorge was best pleased with that one.
Certainly not. Got completely cut off there by Michelin British, and then Michele's used that parallel caddy to run off down the straight there. Jorge's gone a little bit too deep coming down into Brooklands. We're going to see him try and fling it around. As we cut to, who's this? This is Fabio and Tito. Oh! Fabio's just collected the front end of Tito, then he's gone down. I don't really know how Tito didn't go down there. Usually when it's rear wheel versus front wheel loses.
But Tito somehow has got away with it.
Pero te has caído, Tito?
¿Qué tío?
Johan Mir's gone down again. It's turned into a very good race for Johan again. He's all the way down in last place, unfortunately. As we just cut back to Lorenzo again, stalking, hunting Michelin British, coming through the Maggots and Beckett's complex to see if he can get in the slipstream, coming onto the hanger straight and fire his way past. He doesn't even need the straight. He's already through into 3rd place. Now the next man on his list is Tito Rabat.
Fabio fairly perplexed there that Tito didn't crash out as well. I definitely heard Fabio moaning, saying, "Te has caído, Tito? Have you crashed, Tito?" Tito quite abruptly just went, "No." "Did you?" Here's Jorge Lorenzo then. He's up to 3rd place. He's got the better of Michelin British. And as we're getting into about half race distance here, this is where the tyre choices are certainly going to start to come into effect now. Whether those have gone for a soft option will certainly start to be lacking rear grip, whereas those hard tyres that may not have been superb in the opening laps will start to come into their own. It's going to be interesting to see whether the likes of Nakagami and Tito Rabat, who have struggled in races previous, went for a softer option just to try and go with the race leaders in the opening laps, and whether the likes of Lorenzo, we know he's got pace on the 1 lap dash and throughout a race distance as well, may have gone for a slightly harder compound to try and help himself in the fight that I'm sure he was predicting to have with Fabio Quartararo. It's not gone that way at the moment. It's a fairly surprising top 3 with Nakagami still leading the way. Fair play to Nakagami, normally has made the odd mistake here or there in races previous, as Pecco Bagnaia has a 3rd crash. It's been an absolute nightmare for Bagnaia. There's absolutely no chance he's going to finish on the podium now, is there? And that means any chance of him topping this virtual championship at the end of this one has gone. It's going to be Alex Marquez, the only 2-time race winner, who's going to sit pretty at the top of this virtual championship despite not even being here.
Certainly, it seems that maybe Pecco's gone the wrong way with the tyre choice. We're seeing that those tyres he's chosen, we're not too sure what he went for, but whatever he's gone for, they may not be working out too well for him. As we now see Johan Mir just at the back of the field again. You've seen him chuckling along to himself every time he's crashed, but he's just trying to close in on Lorenzo Savadori ahead of him. Now, back to the mid-pack. Fabio Quartararo, that's just Michele Pirro in front of him. We all know that those two got a little bit close for comfort last time they were together on track in this race. So we'll see if he can close them in. As we come into, it is now lap 5, so yes, the second half of the race. And as Jack has said, those tyres, they're really going to start to come into their own on whatever choice they've taken.
Mistake from Pirro there. It's going to allow Quartararo to close in as they go past the wing on the right-hand side there. Quartararo is surely in pole position to move into 4th place, and there he goes up the inside. So Fabio now back through into 4th place. He's got Lorenzo 2 seconds up the road. As Nakagami goes down, the race leader crashes out, tucks the front, and Tito Rabat won't be able to believe his luck. He's leading the race. Well, if he had sweaty palms beforehand, and arm pump as well, he's certainly got it now. Big smile on the face of Tito, and now Jorge Lorenzo. He's up to 2nd place, and he's talking to Tito as well. I think he was just saying then, don't worry mate, I'm coming.
Certainly is, he definitely is coming for him. As we just see Tito go wide there in Brooklands, coming down towards the end of this 5th lap. Tito's probably already feeling pressure, as we said, and that arm pump, as you say, Jack, is definitely coming into play. He's got to be nervous, surely.
Oh, Lorenzo with a brave line there through the final corner. He's on the grass on the inside.
Hey, it worked though. Look at that, fastest lap of the race, a 55.4, only to be smashed out of the park by Fabio, and then Fabio smashes himself out of the park at turn 1. Down he goes, and now that will drop him, what, 5th, 6th maybe? Maybe Pecco can catch up to him.
Certainly looks like he's throwing away any chances of winning this race. He crashes, he closes in, he gets to within a sniffing distance away, and then bins it again. So Quartararo, I think now we can probably put a nail in this in his virtual British Grand Prix. Back at the front though, and it's Rabat and Lorenzo. It's going to come down to one of these two, surely. Nakagami, well, he's in contention as well. He's only 2nd adrift of Jorge Lorenzo. So Rabat, Lorenzo and Nakagami all in contention here with still 4 laps remaining. Rabat still leads though. He's yet to make a mistake. Fair play to Tito Rabat. He must have done some practice before this one, because in virtual races previous, he has made 1 or 2 too many mistakes.
Certainly, yeah, you've got to say, Jack, he's been a little bit too inconsistent to be competing at the front, but in this race, we're 6 laps in, he's not put a single foot wrong. If he keeps it going this way, there's every chance he could win this thing.
So there is Lorenzo, now within a second of Rabat. He's not been able to just dip it beneath the 1 second barrier. Well, he has now, it's down to 0.9 as we're about to go down the Wellington Straight. The Ducati power of Rabat will be hoping to get every single horse he's got beneath him. Absolutely galloping there to try and stay clear of Lorenzo.
He certainly is, but it does seem that he's maybe struggling to just pull it down to the apex and get the big Ducati stopped. We've seen him a couple laps in a row now just go wide at Brooklands there as Lorenzo closes in a little further. Saying that though, the gap is still around 10 seconds. Keep an eye, I would say, about that attacking that easy. I don't know what he's doing in the last time he raced virtual race, but he's definitely found something in terms of setup far quicker here than what he was race before.
Lap 7.2 now, that lead from Lorenzo from Nakagami. Kimi Rose in 4th, after that crash again, they from Nakagami there to find 10 away. Somehow he got back into line, flicking right again. He was all out of shape there was Nakagami, but it doesn't look to have lost too much time. Gone through the top 5 there, 6th place still Pecco Bagnaia, 7th Lorenzo Savadori, and Suzuki of Johan Mir there in 8th.
I don't know if you just heard Tito Rabat saying to Jorge there, Jack, that he's being really annoying because the gap keeps hovering around 1.1, 1.0. Well, Tito, got news for you, it's less than that now, it's 0.6, 0.5. Maybe you should focus on the road in front of you rather than the gap behind.
Rabat continuing to chirp away at Lorenzo. What was he saying there? He kept saying, I keep talking because if I stop, then I'll go slower. Maybe this is what Tito Rabat is like in real life under his helmet. Who would have known? What an insight that Tito Rabat, when at full concentration mode, just talks continuously under his helmet.
Well, as we do know, these riders aren't mic'd up, so it's very possible that he does say that in real life when he's going 200 miles an hour down the hanger straight.
Here we go then, down the Wellington Straight. With Rabat still leading, as you rightly said, Jack, it's under half a second now. Lorenzo is closing in bit by bit. The number 99 is hovering in the background.
Certainly is, the number 99 with little devil horns. He's coming for you, Tito. You've got to run away as fast as you can. Only 3 laps about to as they cross the line for this time to go. Fabio's just trying to sneak up the inside of Michele Pirro again. A few little nudges and bumps there. See if he can sweep round Woodcut and get the drive onto the front straight.
Very much like Marquez rings of last year there, with Pirro running slightly wide and Quartararo trying to get the undercut. But that looks like a scream of Fabio Quartararo. He's managed to stay on board. Meanwhile, we have a change of the lead. Lorenzo has recovered, and it's Jorge Lorenzo that leads this Michelin Virtual British Grand Prix. The wild card. He's come back through after being cleaned out by Taka Nakagami on the first lap, and now he hits the front ahead of Tito Rabat.
He hits the front, and what a fairy tale it is as Tito smashes into the back of the Yamaha there at the end of the straight. Tito's trying everything he can. He doesn't want to lose this one. Why has Lorenzo come back today? He's shouting. Maybe he could have come back tomorrow.
Big shout from Tito and a big smile as well. He's enjoying this one. He's not going away. It's Tito Rabat. He's trying to stick with Jorge Lorenzo at the front of this one.
And you've got to say, what a fairy tale comeback this would be for Jorge Lorenzo if he can win on his return performance with Yamaha. After being away from them for 3 years, being away from the manufacturer he won 3 Grand Prix World titles with. If he could win here in Silverstone, it would be absolutely brilliant.
First win for Yamaha since Valencia 2016. How incredible would that be to see Jorge Lorenzo in the blue of Yamaha on the top step of the podium in virtual terms. I know we're getting a little bit carried away, but why not?
I mean, it's Lorenzo at Yamaha. It was an era of MotoGP. Let's get carried away with it.
Of course. Why? Who on earth would begrudge us to get carried away at seeing Jorge Lorenzo on a Yamaha winning at Silverstone? But of course, it would be fairly magical to see Tito Rabat pick up his debut MotoGP win as well. And he's not going away. Incidentally, he said, I think in 2014, his best ever race was here at Silverstone in the Moto2 class. He clearly loves the circuit. Could that best ever day be trumped here by this virtual victory?
Could well be, and of course while we're rattling on there, we did just see a brief glimpse of Taka Nakagami. Let's not forget how good a performance this is for him, as with just 1.5 laps to go. He's looking to secure his first podium in these virtual races.
Rabat looks to get a super drive there through Maggots and Beckett's as they go down the hanger straight. He got a good little push out of Chapel Curve, but it looks as though Lorenzo's just going to hang on before they go hard on the brakes here into Stowe Corner. Vale's up next, another superb passing opportunity here at Silverstone, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. The gap is actually starting to stretch out now. It's clear that Lorenzo's gone for that hard Michelin rear compound, and it's coming into his own now. We saw Rabat. You'll be able to see him in the back of your picture here. That rear tyre is spitting him from side to side. It looks as though he's just starting to lose a little bit of grip, and Lorenzo's taking full advantage of that.
Certainly is, and as we just see Pecco Bagnaia go down again, I think it's the third crash for him in this race. I just want to point out a little fact here that means this race might not all be over here. Look at Tito's Rabat name there. You don't see any penalty marker next to it. If he can get close enough to Lorenzo, he doesn't even have to finish in front of him. If he's close enough and Lorenzo has a big enough penalty, he will win it on penalty time.
Well, what a twist that would be to the tail if Tito Rabat was to win it, having come across the line in second place. Let's not get carried away as there goes Pecco Bagnaia. I think that's crash number 4 of the day for Pecco. A day to forget, that is for certain for Bagnaia. Alex Marquez will for certain leads this Virtual World Championship at the end of this one. It was an opportunity for Bagnaia, a chance to take full advantage. of Alex Marquez not being here, but he's not been able to do it. 7th place he is now. That is not where you'd expect to see Bagnaia, the winner of a virtual race once in this series so far, all the way back at the Red Bull Ring after that last lap dash with Maverick Vinales. Goodness gracious me, that feels like ages ago.
It certainly does, but what a good last lap that was, Jack. Absolutely cracking action, that one.
Back at the front though, we're on the final lap. 1.2 seconds now is Jorge Lorenzo's advantage. Let's be fair to Tito Rabat. If he was to pick any man in the history of Grand Prix racing to not have in front of him with fresh air on the final lap, it's Jorge Lorenzo. You do not want that man to have clear space ahead of him on the final lap of a race. He's taking full advantage of it, is the number 99. Surely the victory is his now without a mistake.
Certainly, buttery smooth and metronomic is Lorenzo. That's what he's made a career on. And on this last lap, it's highly unlikely he's going to make a mistake. So let's see if he can bring it home, and bring it home for Yamaha, and not just Yamaha himself, in his first return ride back to MotoGP. It may be virtual, but what a story.
Half a lap to go for Jorge Lorenzo. He's over 1.5 seconds clear now of Tito Rabat. This is his Michelin Virtual British Grand Prix to lose. We're into the final part of the lap. They'll go right here, then hard on the brakes to go left. Meanwhile, before we get into the final sector, let's just check out this fight, the final podium place, because it looks as though, despite a whole host of crashes, Fabio Quartararo has managed to salvage something out of it. He's never finished on a virtual podium, despite his pace, so at least this is something to take away for Fabio Quartararo. 3rd place, stealing it away from Taka Nakagami. I do feel sorry for him, because what a performance he's put in. But today is all about this man, the wild card, retired at the end of 2019, but he's back in 2020, and he's a MotoGP race winner once again. Who would have thought it? Jorge Lorenzo takes the Michelin Virtual British Grand Prix, the first time he's won on a Yamaha since Valencia 2016. Tito Rabat, what a performance from the Reali Avintia man. A first ever MotoGP podium for him. Fabio Quartararo onto a virtual MotoGP podium for the first time. Commiserations to Taka Nakagami, with Michelin Pirro completing the top 5. What an excellent race that was. Let's just hear what the guys have got to say as they debrief it.
No, yo lo mejor de toda la partida ha sido cuando me has dado, que un poco más digo, ¿de dónde viene este? Y me dices, ¡Tito! Eso ha sido lo mejor, lo mejor.
Tito, pero tú no te has caído, ¿no?
No, no me he caído, pero porque, no sé por qué.
Pero normalmente cuando es así,
me tendría que haber caído.
¿No te has caído, Tito?
No.
Buena carrera, ¿eh?
Just Johan being there saying what a good race for Tito Rabat, not crashing at all in the entire Grand Prix.
There was definite shock in his voice there.
Yeah,
Buena carrera, Tito. Meanwhile, Tito doing a good impression of Fabio Quartararo when he had his coming together on lap, I think 4 or 5 it was. Meanwhile, here are the final results then. Jorge Lorenzo is your race winner ahead of Tito Rabat and Fabio Quartararo. 4th place, Taka Nakagami with Michelin Pirro in 5th. Lorenzo Savadori, Francesco Bagnaia and Joan Mir are your final finishers here in Silverstone. Let's jump back into our living room and hear what the guys have got to say after that one.